It is me, late night, Krista. I never see 9 o'clock, guys. I don't even think anybody's here. This is a last minute thing. Come on, Instagram. I want to start the segment, but I want to see if anybody comes in the room first. But even replay crew, you guys will get it. Because I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to create a better thumbnail for it and everything. Why is this working? What's it? Control W. Control W. What's happening? What's happening? Why won't you work? I need you to work. Why is it Instagram working? I don't get it. Okay. Stream key? No, stream key. Stream key. StreamYard. Oh, because I didn't put it up here yet. I'm an asshole. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Nobody's here yet. Price for study, dumbass. Paste. Paste. Thank you. Paste. 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 Thank you. Now we can go live on Instagram. Sorry, now everybody will be here. What the hell? Here it comes. Yay! Instagram. Thank you. So, sobriety. We're calling this segment Sobriety with Krista Marie, and it's not always going to be me. When people start showing up, I'll start explaining it in a little bit. But if you are watching me on any of the platforms, I am Krista Marie, usually Reality with Krista Marie. But I want to start talking about Bravo and addiction. And I was thinking about, I wanted to reach out to Carl from Summer House. I've never done interviews before, but this is something that I feel like is starting to really be a big deal, in reality TV. The stuff with Kim Richards really bothers me. Carl, I was really proud of when he got sober. There's a lot of celebrities on Bravo that get sober and stay sober and are still on the show and reality TV. We've seen it. And then there's celebrities that can't do it. Well, I don't know if it's celebrities, but Bravo celebrities that can't do it. And want to sue Bravo or say that it's Bravo's fault. And there's so many things to talk about when it comes to addiction, plus my own personal journey and others' journeys if they want to share it with me, or with you guys, I should say. But I feel like Bravo has a lot of this, and a lot of people, obviously Housewives is, when they sign their contracts, it talks about them drinking, and it says if you have an addiction or you have mental health, anything like that, this is probably not the show for you, or sign this contract, or don't sue us afterwards. Let me shut this for a second. And I just feel like I talk about with the addiction with Bravo a lot, and celebrities and with reality TV. We see it a lot, and I always just feel bad for them, and I try to explain it. Because there's to me, in my opinion, everything I say about addiction, I'm not a specialist, obviously, for that matter. I don't, I've never been to law school. I've never been to any kind of, I'm not a doctor, I've just been an addict for my entire adult life, and I struggle with addiction and mental health, and I struggle with self-medicating addiction. So I self-medicate with street drugs when, my whole life, because I was just mentally not well, and I just didn't want to be myself. I didn't want to be in my head, and I still struggle with addiction. But it's a different, it's addiction transfers. So like I said, there's a lot of things, and you'll notice that I move around a lot. I can't sit still because I have ADHD, but if I medicate myself, then I end up abusing the medication. So there's so much to talk about. I want to talk about now. See, I was going to reach out to other content creators. I really do want other people to come and talk with me. If they want, and then people, if they want to share their journey, or if they have a journey. I want to call Carl. I want Carl. He's my number one interview that I want to get, because I started watching Summer House because I found out he was getting sober on the show. And Lala's always really been impressive to me. I don't think Lala would ever interview with me because she's too cool for school, but she really impressed me when she got sober, because when I say you don't have to get sober, I don't mean like you shouldn't get sober, but sometimes you're not forced to get sober. You have the money to keep doing it. You have nobody telling you. You don't have the courts telling you. You don't have the parents telling you. You don't have a partner telling you. You're just getting high, right? But then if you choose to, and you have the money to do it, Lala didn't have to get sober. She could have stayed up her whole life, right? And stayed on the show and probably hit it, because people do that. But she chose to stop drinking. Hi, babe. Thanks for joining. I know it's so late. You never see me this late, do you? I never see 9 o'clock. I didn't purposely do it, but then I figured, you know what, with California times too and other people's times, maybe it's like daytime somewhere. Maybe it's 4 o'clock somewhere. But anyway, yeah. So first of all, I wanted to talk about, I talked to celebrities or Bravo celebrities. I don't even know. We don't even call them celebrities, do we? They're not really celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Reality stars. I want to talk about reality stars. So Carl's like my first choice. Mike's situation, obviously. Mike just wrote a book. Carl's opening a dry bar. And he's filming the show right now as we speak. Or no, it's over. It's over. We filmed the show. So Carl got sober last summer. So impressive. And there's a lot of different kinds of addiction. There's gambling. I was addicted to drugs. I said, actually, I have addiction transfer. So a lot of things. Addiction transfer means, say you kick one addiction and you don't fix the problem. You're just going to keep, hey, babe. Oh, my God. There's probably people that usually don't show up will show up tonight. So self-medicating addiction, right? And then I feel like there's addiction where it's just people do it for fun. I don't know how to explain that. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but that's always the way I've looked at it. Like, I know that I suffer from self-medicating addiction. I literally my whole life growing up, I'm like, Mom, there's something wrong with me. And she didn't want anything to be wrong with her daughter, I guess, is my guess. And so by the time I was 18, I was like, I'm going to therapy. I literally was diagnosed bipolar right away, ADHD right away. And I feel like sometimes, I know, and there's so much going on right now on Bravo. Like Kim Richards, she's Kyle's older sister. They had to do a 5150 with her because she's back on, I guess, drugs, and she was out of her mind. And it's like they forced her to go get help. And it broke my heart because it's like, I'm 46. She's 15 years older than me. I'm an adult. And you guys don't understand, to get a 5150 on somebody is hard. It has to be really fucking bad. And on another adult. And then Kyle is kicking her out of the house, right? We have Jax, who was just forced to go to rehab. He wants to say it's for his mental health. Hey, we can talk about mental health. But I wish he would tell the truth and tell us that he's a cokehead. Or he had a coke problem. Now, watching Karen Huger today, I feel like Karen is not being honest with herself. And that's an issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much we can talk about. We can talk about the celebrities that are doing it. Or the Bravo celebrities. And, like, you know, do we think that Bravo is playing into it? Yeah, probably. But, like, do you think these people should not be on the show? And, like, what is the answer? And how does Carl stay sober being on Bravo? How did Mike do it? How did I do it? I mean, I'm not on reality TV, but, I mean, I live in my own head. I'm a whole reality show just in my head. Yeah. And, yeah, Karen Huger. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so everything I say is my opinion now. Is my observation. I feel like watching her interview that I played for you guys earlier, I said, I feel like she's on something else. I feel like she's self-medicating now. Now, I also would like to have other people up here because sometimes I feel like I might project. Like sometimes I feel like maybe I just think everybody's on drugs. You know what I mean? Because if they act a little off, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm just looking too hard at her. Like maybe I'm just picking it apart right now because I'm trying to figure her out. I'm always trying to fix everything. You know, I'm such a control freak with everything that freaks me the fuck out when I can't fix things, and it really bothers me. And I try to fix people, and then that's one of my issues. I can barely fix myself, but I'm always trying to fix everybody else too because I feel like I feel like if I could get out of where I was at, the situation I was in, anybody can, but that's not true. I have compassion for addiction. I have a compassion for mental health. And I feel like we've been so like stigmatized. I don't know, ever since I was younger. I mean, my grandmother suffered with bipolar, but that, you know, she was in her 40s and that was in like the 60s and 70s. And I don't really think there was, I remember my mom saying there was no bipolar. Like there wasn't, we really talked about bipolar. And she was so depressed that she, when my grandpa passed away from a heart attack at 47, that's her husband. A year later, she got cancer and she was so depressed she didn't tell anybody. Now, like, I know that all this mental health, it runs in my family. So I know that, like, part of my problem is mental health that I can't help. And I like to get high. I used to like to get high. You know, I really did. I had a blast getting high on drugs until I didn't, you know. And like Carl, like, so now there's another thing. When people say they're sober and they're like, or say I'm sober, and I'm like, no, you're not, you smoke weed. No, you're not, you're on Suboxone. Or no, you're not, you drink. Or, you know what I mean? Like that. And Carl Racky said, I'm sober off the drugs that were killing me. And I was like, thank God somebody finally said this. Because that's what I had. Me too. Like, I've never touched a needle since 2012. I've never put dope in my arm. I haven't put anything in my arms, my veins. I haven't smoked anything since 2012, but for 20 years leading up to 2012, it was like I was addicted to something at all times. I was never not addicted to anything, and it was bad. And it was bad in the end. It was in the beginning. I was in my 20s and my 30s, and I could manage it. I was only on pills, and I was making a lot of money in the mortgage business, with all those people. And so we got caught in 2008 when we got in trouble, and I started getting in trouble, going away, and all that crap. That basically was when I didn't have the money anymore to be, taking 5 Oxycontin a day. At my high, I was at my highest. I think that's when Oxycontin 80s were around. Those little green pills. They were 40 milligrams, $40, and I was taking 5 a day. I was snorting 5 a day, and then I was like $200 a day, right? And then after that, there was those blue Roxasets, those blue 30s, for a couple of years. I was taking 30. Well, I would buy 30 of them, and they'd be going to 2 days. I was taking like 20 or 30 a day, right? Those things, because they weren't really that strong. Then, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. And now, see, my addiction didn't start with pain meds either. I mean, it started with pain meds, but it didn't start from an accident or anything. And that's also an issue that happens with a lot of people too. Like, I don't know how a lot of people, that's why I want to hear people's stories, like how they got addicted, why they got addicted, how they got sober. And this is my best friend, one of my best friends, Renee. She has addiction in her life too. Like, not her, but like her people in her life that she's dealt with. And I don't know if you want to tell anybody about, who, but her situation, but she had to make a decision on her life. And it was like basically her life, or I'll just say her ex-husband's life. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, really, for a long time, I love Renee. I just was like, how does she do this? How does she do this? I would, because that's like being with me. Like when I was at my worst, like my husband didn't know me at my worst with drugs, but I mean, mentally, but like I could imagine dealing with me like my ex did. I wouldn't be with an addict. I never would be with one, because I'm like, I don't want to be with anybody like me. That's why me and my ex were never together, because he wanted to be a outlaw drug addict pagan person, where I'm not going to sit here and worry about somebody that's probably going to go to prison one day, or, get locked up. And that's what happened. He's away for life now. So there we go. And he was a drug addict the entire time, and so was I. So 2 addicts aren't going to work. In my opinion, anyway. I feel like to me, it's a turnoff. And I'm like, I think I look, I'm probably a turnoff to people when I was on drugs. Like, I wouldn't be with somebody like me when I was on drugs. You know what I mean? Because I was at my worst. I couldn't control. I was literally homeless. It was to the point where I didn't have another run in me. I had to get clean. Like, I was 36, I think. I went away the 17th time. Of like ODing and going to different rehabs and stuff. I went 16 times for everybody else, and then I went the last time for myself, and that's when it worked. Because I know now, like, I know you can't. It's hard to tell people that are addicted to things now, that are newly addicted to things, that like literally or tell their family members that literally all this interventions and all that shit is never going to work, because you cannot force somebody to go they don't want to go. I literally had to be sick and tired. I never thought I would be, but I was like, I was losing my life. I was homeless. Like, I got out of jail and my mom would not let me come back home. And I was like, I stayed one night at one hotel, smoked crack all night. That was crack. My crack took me down. And yes, I smoked crack for 7 years, if you can believe it or not. And that night, the next morning, I called my dad, who's always been the drug person, friend, dad, And then he told me fuck off, and he told me to fuck off and walk my ass to crisis, and blah, blah, and hung up on me. I had no cell phone, nowhere to go, no money, no clothes, nowhere to go, at a hotel, which was right down the street from here. I went to crisis, and that was it. And I've never, well, actually 2 weeks after that, I went away, and then, because I OD'd, like a couple weeks before that was 2012, and it was a bad one. I actually died, and they had to bring me back. And I knew after that I was going to be done. I did it for a little bit long after that, like a little bit after that, but I had to like go away. I had to go away for violation of probation. I used to have to do like a couple days here, a couple days there. That's another thing. I was always looking at court stuff. Like there's always, it's like if it's not even just an addiction anymore. Like when it was an addiction, it's also like court, and like you're either giving money to rehab or you're giving money to the court system. And I truly believe, now this is my theory, that the DARE program that was introduced to us in 3rd grade was to get us addicted. It was to literally get us addicted so that half of us would spend our money on rehabs and the other half would spend our money on court systems, because we're constantly going to be paying fines and shit. Like my husband had to pay off the last of my fines. It was like $10,000, but altogether, not including the IRS, just from being, getting in trouble and getting drug charges and other charges, it was like almost $30,000. And I'll never get my license back. There's another thing, like I've cleaned up my life almost 100%. Like I'm nothing. I'm completely different. And that's another thing. I just want to talk to other people that have gone through this. Like, again, people that are on reality TV, because I'm finding that everybody that we talk about, at least every cast or every franchise, there's somebody on the cast that's either getting sober, newly sober, or has stayed sober on, like, look at Lala, stayed sober on Bravo. Look at Carl, he's staying sober on Bravo. Look at Mike, situation, staying sober on Jersey Shore. Leah, it's triggering me to be an alcoholic and my bipolar. And it probably did, but you knew that was going to happen. With my weed, like, I'm already all over the place, right? You guys know I smoke weed all day long. That's literally just to calm my ass down so I'm not manic 24/7. My brain, that's why I can't speak right. My brain runs so fast. It's like crazy. And it's like I used to have to do these drugs. Like, so this is my theory. Okay. The DARE program, Nancy Reagan, they introduced to us in 3rd grade. Teach us how to do drugs. Tell us what drugs do. And I don't know if I ever remembered that shit. But like I said, I didn't take my first Percocet or do my first drug until I was like 22. And I was like, oh my God, this is the answer to life. And I never looked back. And unfortunately now, I'm 47. However many years later, after I was 22, I'm still having to take Suboxone, just like Chandler or Matthew Perry. And it's like, not because I've done dope in 12 years. It's just because that is stronger than dope. And it is like, you don't get high from Suboxone. I don't know if you know how much you guys know about it, but it was to get you off of Suboxone or to get you off of opiates. You were never supposed to be taking it forever. And I'm still on it. And I don't take as much as I used to, obviously. I take very little, say obviously, like you guys know. But I get mad at myself for still being on it. I literally just said to my husband the other day, because I keep saying I'll never go off it. I've been saying that. It's a lot to go through to get off of it. But I heard there's ways. Somebody on another channel told me about the shot and stuff, which is, to me, it would be a miracle. Because there's literally no reason for me to take it. If I want to get high, I'll get high. You know what I mean? It's supposed to stop you from getting high. And everybody's like, oh, if you get off Suboxone, you'll probably get high. I'm like, you don't think I can go get high if I don't get high? You know what I mean? Like, I would just not take my stock. Like, I'm 47, I'll go get high. You know what I mean? I know now that I'm not going to go get high. I haven't wanted to get that shit in years. It doesn't work anyway, and I could stop taking my Suboxone and just get high. I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand. Like, right now, I can get high if I want to. Like, it's not like the Suboxone stops me. It just stops me from being sick. And it's like, it also ties me to my pants. It saved my life too. It saved my fucking life, because I would never be able to continue to take pills. I was dying. Like, I started taking pills to be sociable. This is the fucked up thing. Percocet made me sociable because I'm such a weirdo. For real. Like, when I would go to the bars at 21, I would literally I hide at Bravo events. I'm hiding. And ask Renee, we went to the show, and I'm like, we were friends. I'm like, nope, I'm leaving. And she's like dragging me back into the place. I'm like, I am leaving. I want to go home. I hide behind everybody. That is my problem. That's Renee. You see now why? Like, you've been with me now. You know why I have to. Like, I'm just. I literally, and I had to literally. I was taking pills for so fucking long and going out into bars and clubs and having fun, being sociable, getting fucked up. And thank fucking God, I am not dead. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I've lost so many people, and it slowed down after a while, but it starting again. We're starting to lose people again. And I'm like, oh my God, now fentanyl. Like, I'm scared. Now I'm even scared to do shit because of fentanyl. I mean, but I don't know why I wasn't scared. Should have been scared before. I drove a lot of times. Which makes me really upset. There's a lot of times that I drove and I shouldn't have. Thank God I must have had angels around me because the last OD was pretty bad. Like I was in the backseat of my car, and my friend was driving because I was too fucked up, and I wanted him to shoot me up again. And I said, and he's like, no, you can't. You're too fucked up. You're gonna die. And I'm like, no, do it. And that's the last thing I remember. And Dave took me. He drove my car, drove me to the hospital down the street, threw me on the sidewalk, yelled into the people, "There's a dead chick on the fucking sidewalk." Stole my car and went to Camden and used up my money and drugs and bought drugs in my car and sold my digital camera when digital cameras were cool. That's how long ago that was. And yeah, but anyway, the biggest thing is I died, and thank God they brought me back. And I didn't remember that for like 10 years at the near-death experience, which is a whole other episode. But people always ask me too, like, what keeps you sober? What keeps you from falling off the wagon? Because let's be honest, like, my bills are more than paid. My husband makes enough money. I could get high if I wanted to, and nobody would know. I could do meth. I could do anything. But what keeps me sober is knowing that, like, I have done that so many times, and it's just I don't have the. A couple, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I was starting to realize that, like, I was just not wanting to do the shit that I was doing. Like, I when I met my husband, even though I wasn't doing like dope and shit, I was still abusing my Adderall, and I was doing coke too, to be honest with you guys. I said I would be honest about my sobriety. If I talk about sobriety, I'll be honest. I mean, not that, it was a long time. I did coke for a while after I met my husband too, and he's, he, poor guy, like, he's just like, I don't know. But him too, he literally, when I met him, I was clean, but I was literally, it was like 6 months clean, but I was like, trying to get off of my probation because they couldn't smoke pot. Pot was not legal back then. It was almost 2017. I know. Okay, in the morning. I love you. I know I'm like usually not awake right now either. I see her every morning. Okay, good. I love you. I know there's no shot. I know, but the fact that, like, I've been on it for so long, even my friend Keith, okay, we started doing drugs together. He said to me about 5 years ago, he goes, "Do yourself a favor, stay on it," because he got off it. He said, "I still feel like shit 4 years later." And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's all I needed to know, But see, like, I feel like too, my addiction. So when I met my husband, I was homeless, basically I say homeless, I was living with my parents, but that's not going to last forever. It could have, but it wasn't going to. I have my siblings are all on and off drugs. They're addicted to drugs, and they're either functional or not. And my parents, at one point, I think my parents, like, I really swear that we really killed my parents. Like, I mean, they're alive, but like, they just hate us. I really think they hate us. Imagine having 4 kids, right? All around the same age, all either addicted or like just fucking wild, or just like living at home and just like doing the most wild shit. My sister's got fucking pimps and drug dealers and like hookers in our house, sleeping in our house, and like I'm smoking crack in the room, and like 8 bedrooms, and like nobody can tell if anybody else is home, but every room is like my poor parents. And then it just I never had peace of mind. I really fucking don't know how I did it for so long, and I think that's why I'm so fucked up now too. Like, I put myself through this shit. Like, my ex had me going. I went through hell because I was the one who kept going back to him. He was not available. He was not available to me for 20 years, and I still, met him when I was 15, and then I wasn't going to be with somebody that was like me. And then he married somebody else, and then I continued to do that. And I never told you guys that before. He's in prison now, but he just at nighttime I would just be so fucking upset and depressed because he wasn't there. And for a long time I would just sit and do drugs because I just could not stand the fact that he was his wife, or whatever he was doing, because I wasn't the only one. But I just did a lot of shit that, like, I don't know why. It's sad to me now. Like, that girl, I want to just tell her, I want to hug me. Because I remember thinking all I was ever doing was trying to, like, just feel like I was just trying to survive. which is crazy because I met my husband and he literally loved me so unconditionally. And he took me in, and it was like, it literally, I probably wasn't going to be here much longer. I really wasn't, because I know if I didn't meet him, I would have went back. I probably would have tried it again and did more drugs again and continued to do them. I probably would have died and not come back because it was that bad. And I couldn't believe this man. I'm like, why does he love me? Or why does he like me? Right. And I'm like, am I just the whore that's sticking around or what? Because I'm still here 10 years later. We're on our first date still, to be honest with you. I never left. I did leave to go home a little bit, but now his love, really, honestly, and then just me wanting to have a life. Like, I never thought anybody would love me like he did. So then I'm like, okay, maybe I can have a real life and a husband and a home and be a wife and and we got married within a year. We were engaged within a year. We knew. Like, I was living here right away. I was like thinking to myself, like, I didn't even want to. This guy he was on my nerves. He was like stalking me through Facebook because he was friends with M, that person, and her boyfriend, no, her husband, boyfriend or husband. I don't think they're separated yet. Anyway, George was friends with them and hanging out with them, and he saw my pictures and he kept sending me, like, in the middle of like 3 a.m. he was sending me, like, pics and like messages. And I'm like, who's this fucking weirdo? Like, I have a boyfriend, like this fucking stalker, like all these goddamn weirdos are fucking hitting me up. I'm like, Melissa, who's this fucking dude? She's like, it's George, he's such a nice guy, you gotta meet him, he's got his own house, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, he's fucking weird. And then I'm like, oh my god, never mind, he's cute. I'm like, he's fucking cute. I was like, you know what, shit. So I text him the next day. We text literally nonstop for 3 days. And by Friday we knew each other. We were sending pics, and by Saturday I was living here. It sounds psychotic. It sounds like I'm just a fucking literally probably codependency, but we fell in love. We really, I truly am love. He is the love of my life. He truly is. Like, he is my heart and my soul. Like, I'm still obsessed with my husband 10 years later. Even though I get mad because it's my fault. Like, I get mad at myself because I'm such a psycho. And I just assume that I think he doesn't love me all the time. After 9. I'm like, he doesn't fucking love me. I'm coming to live with you right now. I'll call my mirror. I'm like, I'm coming to live with you, my mirror. Danny, come get me. I'm like, if I leave, and she's like, no, you guys can come. I'm like, I just said I'm leaving him, but he's my home, and that's the thing. I don't like doing drugs. I think was a way also to, like, I always, my home at my parents' house. That house was my home, right? So, and the other homes were the shore house. Like, the only place I felt at home was the shore house, right? So there's 2 homes or 3 homes I've only ever had. So also how to get used to being here and living at home, or having a home, or being home, feeling the feeling of home, as I'm trying to say. And then it slowly became he was my home. But it's like if something ever happened to him or he left me, I would feel so emotionally alone, and I would probably start doing drugs again, because that's what it is. It's self-medication. So it's like and like Maureen, she feels like home. I told you, like, a couple people, but like, we're not gonna go live with my friend. You know what I mean? Like, adulting sober sucks. Not when you're a normal person, but when somebody that had spent your entire life working, everything you ever did, you were doing drugs just to do them, and then you stop and you're like, it's not an option. You think it's not an option. You're like, this is not an option. I've been doing I obviously can't function sober. So, and another thing I want to talk about too is addiction doesn't discriminate. Sobriety is free. So when people talk about, oh, John's Fuda had money, that's how he was able to stay sober. And the other one didn't, his wife or ex-wife did it. So, he got to go away and she went to prison. Listen, sobriety is free. And addiction does not discriminate. It had nothing to do with money. He decided to get clean and clean up his act and not do what he was doing. And thank God for his kid, because she's still in prison. You know what I mean? How many years ago now? So that's another thing. Like, there's a lot of Bravo things we could talk about. Like, I want to make this a segment, like I said. Obviously, that thumbnail is not going to be the thing. I want to reach out. I said I wanted to reach out to Rob Brothers, because one of them has a sobriety story, and I always connect with them a little bit when there's like a story like with Carl and stuff. And I wanted to ask him to either come on and talk about it with me, with his his story, my story, whatever his story. He's got an amazing story from what I understand. I think it was alcohol, and cleaned up his life like I have, and and we probably do both have the same thoughts about like, people saying, "Oh, I'm sober," but you're not sober because you smoke pot, or oh, this or that. Like, there's a lot of different things that people say about sobriety that are different opinions that people have on it, or they think you're sober and you're not sober if you're on this or that. Like, yeah, I smoke pot all week or all day. If I didn't, I'd be really off the walls, And I also keep saying too, which is probably not the right thing to say, that I don't care if you do drugs or drink. I really don't think drugs and drinking are the problem. It's how you act on them. Like, I've cut my friends out of my life because they're liars and thieves. And they steal and they leave drugs around my house, and I have cats in my house. I've never even I'm not a stupid drug dealer. I was not a stupid drug dealer. I never had drugs in my house. Like, not even, you know what I mean? Like, and then they would come here and like drop shit. Like, and my husband would find it and blame me. It's just like, it was crazy. It was crazy. They steal. And it's like, and it all comes back down to drug addiction. And, at some points, or some of them, I could feel bad. Like, I could feel bad because I understand addiction, but I don't feel bad when you lie and steal from me. When you come up, do you want to come up and talk about this with me? Mir, Danny, because we both have a similar story. I'll drop the link just in case. And I do think having conversations like on a panel or something is pretty good too. And I do think people, I don't know, maybe I want to say we could help people, but I feel like I also feel comfortable talking about like being sober off certain drugs because Carl Radke said it on Cat. Like, he said that, and I'm like, I've said that for so long. Like, but people will say, "Oh, you're not sober, not sober." It's like, am I going to start my sober day over? My sober, I'm 470,000 days sober, but then I got to start over because I smoked pot one day. You know what I mean? Like, I've never gone back to drugs or killing me. When he said that, I was like, oh, thank God somebody's saying it. And then, a lot of them, like with the situation, I feel comfortable always talking about my issues because I would watch the show not knowing he was on pills or anything or any of the drugs he was on. Same thing with Carl. And I would think to myself, I could be on show, but I would never try out for that because I'm just a fucking drug addict. And they're not going to hire a drug addict if he wants to be with somebody who has to do pills. And then I'm like, oh my God, he was still on the whole time. And it's amazing to me that just him doing that and saying that and knowing that, again, I could sit there and I felt more comfortable talking about my stuff, about everything I go through with addiction because, I've always been in a book, but I just feel like with this platform, like I was afraid too much. And then a lot of people ask me too, how do I stay sober this time? And I do believe spirituality has a lot to do with it. So that's another aspect of addiction and getting sober I want to talk about too. I just don't think people are ready to talk about the spiritual side. And I believe that is the reason this time. A lot of reasons that happens, but like a lot of signs, and I do believe it. A lot of spirituality, and I honestly, without that, I don't think I would be here. I definitely would not be here. I know I'm probably gonna go to sleep soon too. As I said, I was coming back, and I was thinking about it, and I just when I found out that after watching Karen Huger today, I was like, man, and I had forgotten about her DWI. I did not realize how bad it was. It was worse than Shannon's. And Karen seems in denial. Or she just doesn't want to talk. She keeps saying she can't talk about her case because it's not adjudicated. She keeps saying the word adjudicated. It means she hasn't been in court yet to get one. For the judge to go, oh, you got a DWI, you're being charged now. Or you're being convicted now. And I don't know, she's fighting it, but I don't know why. We read the thing. I don't think they'd put her in jail. They said it was a very rare instance that they would, but for second offense. But the bigger issue is that I don't think she realizes that, which she did. Like, I don't think the gravity of your age, people getting in a car and driving when you have the money that you have, and you have the option to fucking literally call me, but she had no insurance, no registration. I'm like, hell, Karen, you're not poor. You have the money to register your car. You know what you do. Fuck, I'll do it. You know what I mean? God damn, I'll register your damn car for you. $20, $40. I mean, I don't know. I know what happens. It happens. I know. I actually drove around with no registration for a long time. Again, don't know how I'm still alive. I am complete fucking. I have to have everything where nothing. Like I said, I'm like a control freak. So I feel like I can't fix people. So it literally devastates my soul see my best friend struggle with being an alcoholic, and having to want a real life and be such an awesome person. And like, she's literally the other half of my soul. And I spent my whole life trying to get my dad sober, and then it was me trying to stay sober. And then it's like my family members and my sister, and she's blowing them, and I'm losing people, and I'm like, oh my God. And then my best friend, she's, like that. This last year, I just, I don't know how much longer I can. And I can't help it. That's the thing. I can't not love her. I can't not love these people. And I know I want to talk about enabling because I'm the biggest enabler. Well, I am with her, right? Not with other people. And I do feel like it's not, I don't know, see people, enabling certain people is wrong, but I need other people to talk about this with me. Because I feel like if I didn't help her, then, I don't know. I would help her with her without me. It doesn't matter. It just, I don't know, that whole enabling thing, but I get fucked up with that. Because like I won't enable the people that have completely fucked up, but like I don't consider it enabling. Like I think I would probably give her the money whether she was drinking or not, if she needed it or needed a place to stay or needed money for this or that. Like, and it's for the kids too, by the way, because I am baby daddy to Marie's kids. I have been since Elena was 2 weeks old, and they're now 10, 8, 3 or 4. And their dad's, he was gone 2 weeks after Elena's born. He just got back, and now he's gone again. So, yeah. See, like, I don't get mad at the drugs. I get mad at how you act on the drugs, and how the fuck are you going to just, like, anyways. I kept saying, am I going to tell more about myself, or am I going to, like, I might in a whole other thing if, like, people ask me more questions about my journey. I do want everybody to be, if anybody, even like, I'm not talking about just Carl or whatever, anybody on this that sees this that wants to talk about their sobriety or talk about it, please. I'm letting anybody can come up on this panels with me the days that we do the segments about this stuff. I am going to try to get Carl and like the situation. I would like to talk to them about Bravo or about reality TV and getting sober, because I started to think about this a lot when I was like saying that Shannon shouldn't be on the show for a season, and then like what was going on with Leah, or and now Brandy's lawsuit's getting dropped, or she had no lawsuit, but I really feel like she's also using. I don't know if Bravo is the problem with these people. I mean, do these people, it is nothing. We got to find out, do they have addiction? I don't know. I guess there are definitely a lot of stories to be told too. And I feel like it will help people. I mean, people feel more, at least feel more comfortable about talking about it. And I feel like when you talk about it, sometimes you might get the inspiration to, all right, say, this is my theory. Because I'm like, how can I help people? I don't know. Telling my story is not going to just help people. But I thought maybe, because I felt more comfortable talking about it, if somebody else sees us talking about it, they talk about it, then they're like, you know what? These people accept me. Because I feel like I was feeling like a loser. I my hair back. I was like, I would talk about it because I didn't want people to like, not talk to me, or what I'm saying, not like me, blah blah blah. But I feel like if we talk about this more and we talk about how the different parts of it, about relapse and everything, that maybe some people will watch and talk about it. Maybe they will feel accepted and want to get clean. And, maybe something will switch in them and switch like it's switching in me. I don't know. I know that unconditional love and acceptance finally from somebody after I didn't deserve it. I should have black hair thinking. It's definitely what saved my life. It did. It really did. And just not wanting to, like, honestly, like I knew, I was not going to have anywhere to live, and that's not who I am. I don't fare well homeless. So one time I had to panhandle in Philadelphia. I was smoking crack, and I accidentally, me and my sister's ex-husband got on a bus, ended up in Philly, had no money to get back. He left me, had to panhandle, and I don't look like a panhandling type. I even on drugs I look like this. Okay, I was still doing my. People knew I was on drugs because they knew who I was, but they couldn't tell. Like, people couldn't tell I was on drugs because honestly they made me more normal. Except for I'm lying. Except for Xanax. I have some stories that, like, you guys, that would, the last 2 stories that would scare me besides my OD, I have to tell you after. It was so bad. I ended up at the airport. It was bad. Xanax, the last 2 times I took it in 2018, 2 times that year, I took it and I almost died. I turned into somebody I don't even know for days. I must be allergic to them or something, because my ass does not. I turn into a different person, and I do the things that I did when I was a complete fucking crackhead, and I think it's okay. And and I ended up at the airport. It was crazy. There's a lot of things that happened in the end that I was like, thank God, because if not, I would have kept doing this shit, and I definitely would have been dead. And I'm so grateful to be alive. But again, I don't want to make all this about me, because this is just I have to make an intro about that stuff, about this. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it the right way. But I figured if I came on and I forgot Instagram was on. If I came on and talked about it a little bit. Oh, hello, lovers. Cassandra and Bravo in Hawaii. Talking about addiction in Bravo. I want to do a segment about it and I want to do interviews. Hopefully I can get some. I can get Carl to come up. Carl is my number one person I want to talk to. I was so inspired the fact that he got sober last summer, and I'm hearing him talk about, he did lose his brother. They make me, I can't even explain it. I don't remember, so it's like, but I remember things I did. I remember Rain looking at me and going, I didn't fucking know who you were, and you weren't listening to me, and I gave the fuck up on you. You were telling me you were going to Walmart in the airport, and she's like, and I was like, I know. And then the same thing with her, entirely different person when she drinks. So I get it. And that's the thing. I love her so fucking much. And I should tell her. I know she doesn't care if I do, but she knows I understand because of me. I get addiction. I don't have kids. Another thing, I didn't have kids for that reason. I didn't have kids, and I did not want to ruin their lives because I was an addict and a mental case. And having a mom that's bipolar is not fun. And I knew that would be the case, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to risk that and give one pass on mental illness and addiction to my child, because I do believe it is in my family. My dad and my uncles were all addicts and outlaws and crazy, and then we're all clean and sober, which is crazy. After prison, we all got clean and sober. But that lifestyle too, it's not sustainable, and that's another thing. I can't have a not sustainable lifestyle. I get too anxious. I have to know that, with George, I'm like, okay, I know the house is big, you know what I mean? Nobody's gonna come take our house. We have our future set. I think for so long, because I was I didn't live like that for so long. I was always, if I had money on me, it went into the drugs. I was living at home with no bills. I wasn't paying any bills. The money I was making, when I made good money, I was just buying cars and stuff, nice cars and clothes, and I was living at home, doing mortgages, making a lot of money. But then I started to really have to be and again, being sociable, selling mortgages, you have to be blah, 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 blah. Another thing. So I would want to do pills and all that shit just to get myself to do my work. And then I'm like, wow, I'm an amazing loan officer, but fuck, can I do this sober? I'm a loser. I can't do this sober. I can only do this because I'm fucking up. I'm fucked up. And I just so many things. I keep fucking around my hair. Say, look, my anxiety is so bad right now. I know this is my anxiety and my ADHD, when I can't stop moving and touching my hair, and just, I don't take a breath after I speak for a long time. And usually I'm not up this late, and I get up at 3:45. But, another thing with me, so I am like a insomniac. So I used to smoke pot just to go to sleep too. But usually I'm laying in bed right now, and I'm either asleep or I'm thinking about going live. I'm like, there's people live right now. And I get literally FOMO. I'm never here this late, so I'm kind of curious. There's nobody here. Nobody's watching. I'm kind of curious if there's anybody who is on Facebook or Facebook on YouTube. I want other content creators. I guess I'll reach out to them, because I know this is late. Nobody's used to be being live at this late. But I want to talk to them about this stuff, about Bravo, if they want to. Because I like other people to tell their stories if they have one, or if they want to come up and just talk about a period, or when we on one of the shows that we watched that week, because Karen's going to be a big deal, Shannon's a big deal right now, her situation, Brandy, there's a lot of people, and it's we could probably go through all that and talk about each one of them. I don't know, any ideas, brainstorm. I just think it's time to talk about sobriety and addiction and reality TV and the effects of it, and if it does affect it, if it doesn't affect it, if it makes it worse. Some people might say that it keeps them not from being fucked up, because who wants to be on camera? Like, I know, I think to myself, I would probably completely not take benzodiazepines just because I knew that Bravo cameras were going to be on me. You know what I mean? Like, maybe some people, it was easier to stay sober because they knew they had to be accountable. I know being accountable for shit is how I get, is a big thing for me. Like, I just, not that my parents didn't make us accountable, but they kind of just, I don't know, they were just, my mom and dad just lost me. My stepdad and my mom. They really just didn't, we had no structure or rules. We were just spoiled, rotten, wild kids that turned into wild adults. And then, you know, slowly all got married and shit. But like, it's my sister living there taking care of my parents. And it's like, my sister's wild. I wish she would come up. I'll let her tell you if she ever wanted to talk about her story. But my sister's, you think my sister's crazier than me. Absolutely nuttier than me with all of it. Completely fucking. I mean crazy. I mean fucking absolutely crazy. Like yeah. But anyway, I will tell stories if you ever want me to. But it's just, you guys would fucking be like, you would be like, you know, there's no way that you ever did that, Krista. Like, I tell people that they look at me, they're like, there's no fucking, you're such a liar. You never did that shit. I'm like, that happened. God, I don't know alive. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I laugh a little bit because some of it was kind of, you know, it is kind of crazy to think about and funny. But then I get so sad thinking, like, how many people did not make it to be my age? And how the fuck did I? And like, why am I still here and they're not? It's just crazy. I have two of my friends that committed suicide, my two best friends, like 19 and 27, over drugs. I've lost so many people to ODs. I've given up on people, not given up on people. I've dropped people out of my life because I can't be around it. I can fuck up by myself. I don't need you to do it for me or with me. Yeah. And like, watching Carl last summer, I was so proud of him. I was like, man, it's hard being kidding. So we're fucking hard as an adult. And, you know, going through what he went through with Lindsay, it couldn't be fucking easy. Like, and I'm like, look how he did this. Like, he lost his brother to drugs. And he said, Lindsay kept saying to him, you're not sober. You're not sober. And I'm like, this is not, you don't do that. Like, shut up. I was so angry. I was like, oh man, like and I know, like, because you've been on drugs, that if you're a little off, then people will accuse you of still being on drugs. Like John Fuda, this for instance. He was at a party at Jackie Goldslater's 17 Weeks, don't you know? And this was before filming of last year. And because he used to sell drugs, which he used to sell pot, he ended up getting in a fight with somebody at Jackie's because of the stupid Teresa shit that she does, you know, provoke show. And oh my god, what was I saying? Whoa, what was I going with John Fuda? Man, I'm one bird bitch, man. Holy shit. I totally just blanked the fuck out. What was I talking about John Fuda for? Probably something about bringing up his past, but something different. Anyway, I do see a lot of that shaming stuff, though. I see a lot of drug addiction shaming or addiction shaming for Teresa's people, or, you know, what they do for a living, like white collar. I'm not white collar crime. Just personally, what are you saying? Blue collar workers, they make fun of them constantly. And let's see. I did see Jenny 8 Inspired. Are you live on YouTube? I am live on YouTube. Amir. Let's see what's going on. I saw something about Jenny being fired. Oh, by the way, speaking of being on drugs, Lobster Man, Crazy Guy's Crazy Hair guy. Here's another thing. Tom Sandoval. Now, you guys know that Tom used to be like, Tom could never, ever, ever do any wrong in my eyes, ever. Jax is the biggest piece of shit ever. Drug addict, scumbag, hate him. And now I feel like Jax, oh, look at Zach. Jax went away for, and I wish he would be honest with why. He's never going to be honest. I don't know why. I believe definitely, I know that he did cocaine, and I believe that's what he was doing, and whatever, dude. If you ever want to come on the channel and be honest about drugs or whatever, I would. Hi.
Hi. I like this segment, Sobriety. I like that.
Bravo.
You know what sobriety is like to me? It's just like an opportunity for clarity. That's what it is. Because you don't have all the stuff numbing you, interfering with you, even though it helped. It probably saved most people's life. An episode of addiction can be a lifesaver. And if you can't get out and learn to walk your dragon or whatever, then it can be your downfall. But it also can be your lifesaver to be addicted, because you could have been gone a long time ago had you not found a way to numb your pain or whatever the situation is for people. You know what I mean? And so I like this segment. Is this the first time you've had this?
Yeah, I was thinking about it for a while. I want to be a little bit more cleaner than this, but like I do want to. I've never interviewed anybody, but I want to talk to Carl Radke from Summer House, like the situation, because all of these people get sober on Bravo or on reality sober, and to me that's like holy shit, I just want to talk about how their stories, and like I'm just really impressed with Carl and Mike, and you know, and like Carl said last year, and I've never heard anybody else say this. I'm sober off the drugs that were killing me. Because Lindsay's like, you're not sober, you do this, and people have said that to me because I smoke pot or I take my Adderall. I'm like, motherfuckers, I haven't stuck a needle in my arm or smoked crack since 2012. I've been sober off the drugs that were killing me, and I was self-medicating my entire life. Medication, addiction, it was medication for me. You know, I still do it. It's like it's all mental for me. And then there's other people that are addicts, and I don't. It's not mental. Like Diddy, what the fuck? He was definitely on drugs. I don't think it was mental illness, but I think he just liked it. I think that there's addicts that like to do it.
They said that Suge Knight said that Diddy is going through withdrawal.
I'm sure he is. I mean, the fact that he brought all those drugs to New York with him, and knowing that he could, I don't know what the fuck he was. I don't know. He had to be addicted, because why would you even think that they're not going to come get your ass? Why would you risk bringing drugs? And what were you going to do with all those drugs? So he was obviously on a lot of shit, and he's going to be withdrawing. And that's the craziest thing. Like, to go from somebody like him, who did whatever he fucking wanted all day, every day, drugs here, drugs there, to just, you've probably never been to jail, but like, yeah. I'm surprised he's alive. I'm surprised he hasn't. I don't know how this motherfucker is doing it. If he's real, I have a feeling he's not even there. Because I don't know how he went from being who he is, everything we're hearing. And I know with me being an addict and going to jail for a couple of days, it is the worst feeling in the world knowing you're going to be sick. Because they didn't do that. They don't give you medicine. Here, they didn't do that for a long ass time. They didn't give you had to go through withdrawal. And a lot of my friends died in jail. I had 2 people died next to me, you know, from withdrawal from alcohol.
It's like, it's a two-edged sword. I mean, it's bad. Yes. And also it addresses like addiction is kind of like a gluttony issue too, because you're overdoing it. Again, you know what I mean? It's not like just like, you know, what do they call it? A functioning alcoholic kind of thing. It's like beyond that, right? So, but I'm not saying for people to go get addicted, but I also know that it also makes the people who they are today, which is usually a great fucking person who understands and is enlightened in a way that's not like the average smegular person, because of everything they've been through during the addiction phase. You know what I mean? And so it kind of like cracks them open in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's like the biggest question. I hate that question. People are like, do you regret it? I don't know how to answer that question, because you're right. I am not. I definitely would not be this person, and I love the person that I am. I love what it made me. Because I didn't have that. I had empathy, but before I didn't. I cared more about myself. But it was me first, and I learned. So, like, something happened. That 20-year period. You know, I get it. Now I get people, I get addiction. And I know that, like, I was wondering, am I a bad person? Am I a bad person? Like, am I a good person that makes bad choices? You know, like, it just fucked with me so bad. And then now I know that I would probably, I don't know what I would be without it. Like, I don't know life without me being on drugs. You know, like, I still self-medicate with weed, you know, but people are like, oh, you're not sober, you're high all day. I'm like, but no, you don't understand. My bills are motherfucking paid. You know, when I'm an addict, I'm on the street. My bills aren't paid. I'm dirty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a complete drug addict. Me smoking pot, it keeps me from going back to doing all those other drugs I did before. You know, I just didn't smoke pot before because I was on probation or parole, and that's one thing that I couldn't do. but it sucked. Like it stays in your system longer. But to me, I don't see anybody going out and unaliving themselves because they can't get their pot, or because they're on pot. Or has anybody ever died from pot? I don't know. But I look at me. It's 9:00 at night. I've been up since 3:45. For some reason, this moon has got me manic as hell, I believe, and I can't sleep. I feel like I can't sleep. Like I might, honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought somebody gave me goddamn meth or something. And a lot of people, I'm watching TikTok, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. They're like, I get up at 3:00 now, 5:00. I got all this goddamn energy, and I'm like, that's been happening to me for years. But I mean, it's even worse now. I'm usually asleep by now. It could be triggered by I don't know. Watching Karen. Karen had Huger's interview, talking about her DWI, and she's complete denial. Definitely think she's on something, pills. I'm very sad for her, and it triggered me. I think it triggered me because I'm like, Shannon too. Like I know what it's like to be an older person, and in my age, and even say 15 years from now, I could probably just as easily fuck up just like that. And it's so sad because I know you can tell they're self-medicating. And Karen, Karen, she's like, I went through grief with my parents, and then she said her and Ray were having issues, and now she's completely, I don't know. You got to watch the interview. And tell me what you think. She looks good, but she looks like she's on something. Really pills, and I hate. And then I'm like, am I projecting? That's why I need to have a co-host or something with me if we're talking about people. Because sometimes I feel like I'm looking at everybody like they're all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're on shit. I'm usually right. I mean, I think Sandoval's on shit. Found out that he probably definitely is. I knew Jack.
What's this new thing? Ariana has a new beau, and people were coming after him, and then she had to stick up for him or something.
Yeah, a new guy, like not the guy she was with after Tom. Another new guy?
Some other new boyfriend. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have to look. I haven't seen. I saw a little bit. I saw a very snippet of something about Vanderpump today, and I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. So, but I was trying to another one of my friends got it.
Well, I didn't want to keep you. I was just coming up to. I like this segment. I like the name of it. I like what you're talking about. And yeah, we need to talk about it more and take the stigmas off of it and, take the dirty off of it because people are people. And the one thing that you just said earlier, like, am I a good person? Or, and I just watched Inside Out 2 with my son yesterday on Disney Plus. I'm not getting paid for this promotion. But we watched it and it was so cute. And it was about this. The bottom line was her core was she was a good person. And then there was all these other aspects of her personality that are going on in her head and it's all in cartoon. And so like anxiety is crazy. She's crazy, anxiety. And the way she takes over. And I really liked how they showed that. But I also appreciated how it showed that like anxiety can fuck with who you think you are. And so you just said you're a good person and you know that you are. And so then anxiety comes and fucks with that, but also makes you realize that the only way to not be so anxious about it is to accept that sometimes you're bad. Sometimes you're smart. Sometimes you're dumb. Sometimes. Because there's no monolith. There's not a monolithic anything, not really. You know what I mean? And even straight lines really have bumps in them. That's what they say, right? So, I appreciate that. There's hope in our own self-talk because you started with you're a good person, and that's the truth.
But I know
regardless of all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Other people going through this problem or this issue or this challenge. They're good people usually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. And it sucks because like it just the lies that you tell yourself that I have a replay in my head my whole life that I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, I'm broken, I was born broken, like it was because of all my mental. I'm like, why was it me that has to be born with addiction and mental illness? I know now that I chose that. Now I know what. 40 years later, thank God it's over. But like 40 years later, 46 years later, I finally found out the purpose of my life. You know what I mean? And I chose all this. If you want to get spiritual about it, but going through it. God damn it. Like a lot of the spiritual people I talk to are like, it's 1010 by the way. 1010. Mediums, they're like, first anything that my guides and guardians come through and they're like, girl, you got to stop stress. You've been through so so much and you're still worrying. And that's all my guides and guardians ever say. Stop worrying, you're fine. And I'm like, you don't understand. I can't help it. Make me stop worrying then. Like Minnie, wherever you're at, like make me stop worrying and take it away. Because I worry about everything. I worry about my best friend. I worry about my dad. I worry about myself. I worry about. And then it's like, I know I can't fix people and I'm a control freak. So that's what fucks with me when I can't change things or fix things. And it's another problem I have. And it's like, I can't help it. And I cry all the time and people laugh at me. I laugh at myself. Sometimes I'm crying because I'm sad. Sometimes I cry because I'm happy, but I cry a lot. But it's like, you have to feel shit to heal shit. That's how I feel now. And I was masked with fucking lithium and all these drugs that I feel that the government did to basically dumb us down and numb me up. So I didn't literally heal anything. And I didn't deal with all the shit that made me fucking crazy that they've done. And I believe wholeheartedly it's the government. But whatever, we're finding out now the truth. And it's like, okay, thank God, we're still here. But like a lot of people aren't still here. And I do feel like the DARE program did put us all. The DARE program was to get us addicted. And so they could get our money. Like literally third grade, you're showing us drugs. Nancy Reagan, come on now. And like literally, I don't remember thinking about that time when I started doing drugs, but I thought after a while, I'm like, all of us they're getting money from us through the court system, money through like rehab's $30,000 a week in Florida. Okay, that's a lot of fucking money. And guess what? 17 times it didn't do shit because I went for somebody else. The 17th time I went for myself, and that's when it worked. Like you can't just pop up on people and do interventions. That shit does not work. You can't force somebody to get clean. They will not do it unless they want to. That is the fucking truth. Like it did not happen until I absolutely wanted it to be. Like I say all the time, if I want to get high, I'll go get high. Like nobody will even know I got high, but I don't want to. Like I've other ways now to deal with the shit that I deal with. I just deal with it. I smoke a lot more pot, and I have my plants and my cats
all day. 420 friendly all day.
Like I have my plant people, my cats, like they're my people now. They're my addiction.
Yeah.
It really is, like, honestly, like crafting, like people live. I'm like, I was a felon. I was a homeless, addicted felon, addicted to crack. Literally looked nothing like this. And now I'm like a fucking crafter, a plant. And my sister's like, you garden. I'm like, I know. Isn't it funny? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I know. Look at me. I'm a gardener. I garden. I'm a wife. Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah. Like, I never thought I would have a husband, honestly. I thought the best I would do is, like, a boyfriend. Who the fuck would marry me? Honestly, I didn't think anybody would want to marry me. Ever.
Yeah. I get it. And I love you. And I'm going to go. I was in a break-in class. I got to get back.
Oh, my God. I forgot it's earlier there. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Peace.
Bye. I miss you. Bye. Oh, I'm glad you came up. But, yeah. I remember like the DARE program. Did you guys have the DARE program? See, it didn't. I didn't even know. Like, I remember I knew a little bit about drugs, but like for some reason in high school, I didn't know everybody was doing drugs. My girlfriend's like, "How did you?" I'm like, she's like, "You didn't know we were doing drugs?" I'm like, "No, I had no idea these fucking cokeheads." It was like in high school though. I think we're doing it. They were doing it anyway for fun. Like they just let's go get 6 bags of cocaine and try cocaine. Which I was like, okay, you guys are weird. No, I didn't know. Carl, if you ever been. So Carl, my sister's boyfriend of forever. I was, hung out with him in high school. We did a lot of drugs together. I wish he'd pop up right now because we laugh about a lot of that shit when we were younger. We were doing it just like, I don't even know why. Like, I just remember Percocet was the first thing that I became addicted to because it made me normal. Like, look how much of a weirdo I am. Like, I sit here and I talking to myself right now. No, to you guys. But like, no, I used to literally like block by Hubhouse. Who's blocked? I'm talking about Carl and Lindsay right now. So why would they block you? Who's blocked by Hubhouse? Why is that bitch blocking you, by the way? I'd like to know. Let me know. I'm here, so I'm going to stay on for a little bit. Anyway, I'm talking about Bravo and sobriety. I'm making this a segment. This is just, this is nothing, just introducing it or talking about it. Because I don't want to spend every episode probably talking about myself, because I do it a lot. But talking about Bravo and seeing the reality stars that we love suffer like Karen, I'm like, it really hurts my heart for her. It hurts my heart for Shannon. And, you know, Jax just went away. There's a lot going on, drugs and stuff. And we talk about it, but it's like, I don't know if it really is a conversation. And there's a lot of stories. Like Carl's an amazing story. And I really, really hope that he comes on and talks about it, because we were doing the same drugs and he said the same thing. I said, I'm sober off the drugs that were killing me. And I'm like, thank God somebody just said that, because I don't think I've ever heard that. I mean, we would say it, but it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's like, yeah, like if you want to see me fucked up, like, no, you don't. I thank God I'm alive and being scared now too. Like I'm scared to do different drugs now. I was just talking about like shrooms. Is shrooms even legal? I know, Danny, I know you sent me a thing about it. I didn't even know that yet. But like, how are people doing shrooms? How are TikTok selling shrooms? Is it not the shrooms that are supposed to be illegal? Because some people, like Zach, he takes them instead of smoking weed, Zach Peter. But he can get them because he's in California. So he must get any kind he wants, and they're legal. Why are people yelling? You guys didn't hear that, did you? Somebody else yelling. And then, right when I got off the last live, there's a house on wheels on the side street over here. I live in a corner. And it was getting, the cops were there, and it was getting towed. It's a house on wheels, legit house on wheels. And me and George are sitting there in the dark, being all nosy, watching out the window. Like two little fucking kids were like watching this. There's a lot going on down here all the time. What the fuck? Oh my God, Steve. Shut up, you fucking drunk. I hate this bitch. I hate this girl. I hate this bitch. She's a drunk. She's calling her kid a retard. I can't. She's called her kid the R word, RETARD. I hate when she does that. She did that so many times, and he's not. That he was this fucked up story. She's called him that so many times, right? So all of a sudden, this kid, he's put like a fire in the backyard, like a bonfire, like not like setting a house on fire. But some of the neighbors saw him and fire, and they called and said the kid that's slow, our kid, he's playing with fire. And the cops and the firemen came and like, where's the kid that's the developmentally delayed starting a fire? And she's like all offended that they thought that, but she calls him that all the time. She says that word all the time to him. And I really think the neighbors thought that he was. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad for him. She's yelling at him right now. Oh my God, she's so bad. I've been with her for 10 years. She's an alcoholic. She's been on her step in her house and her yard and her. She's out there every day for 10 years with her family, drinking, yelling and screaming all night long, talking loud on the phone. It's just fine, whatever. Like I don't fuck with my neighbors. I don't know what's going on. Me and Maureen were really close because our houses were basically attached to each other, and it was like living on one house. After that, it was enough for me. I cannot get close to any more neighbors. I cannot. It's just too much. It's hard when you live here or when you live somewhere and then like you have like your best friend and they're just always around, and it's like when they ask you for a favor, you don't want to say no because it's your friend, but then they ask you all the time because you're there. But if you're not there, they can't ask. You know what I mean? I love you, Maria, but the best thing about our friendship was when you saved our friendship, you leaving. Because I'm not a kid person, you know. I love my nieces and nephews. I love them to death. But I have a 2-hour window, and it's like, and I don't want to, I'm not, you know, and there's a lot going on with her. There's cops rules here. Anyway, it's just the whole thing. The stress for me of it and the anxiety of it's not a sustainable lifestyle. That's what I was going to say earlier. There's nothing, I can never finish a sentence or a thought. I got to learn to do that. I'm going to have people that are like, you know, like I'm going to ask Steele to come on here. I got to do more with it. Or if I'm going to like talk to Carl, I can't be going all over the place. This is kind of like my not professional introduction to this sobriety. I want to do spirituality with Kristen Marie too eventually when people are ready to talk about it. Our people. I know people on here talk about it, but that is really what's keeping me alive, really. It really is what's keeping me alive. And I hope that more people go, and I'm talking about like meditation and stuff. Like I don't meditate as much as I should. And it took me almost a year of like CTT therapy, which is consciousness transformation therapy technique, to just be able to like quiet my mind for more than 5 minutes to actually meditate. And because I was having these episodes where I thought I was dying just recently, and I was like, oh no, it was the most scary. I thought I was dying. I really did, and I never felt that before. it was like all of a sudden the walls are closing in. I don't know why. They weren't closing in, but I felt like they were, and I couldn't breathe. And then I was like, all these weird thoughts were coming in my head, and then I felt this pain up and down my back, and then I found out I was like Kundalini thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh shit. Okay, great. Glad that happened, but I don't want that. I don't like it. I didn't like it at all, and I feel like I was like, it would start, and it happened. It almost happened a couple times after that, and I was like, oh god. So I would literally sit there, make myself breathe, because I don't ever shut. This is me all the time. I'm always like, and I know I should just be able to calm down, but I don't. I'm shocked that I'm still awake. I don't know what's going on. I just can't believe I'm up right now. I probably should get off here. I do feel very manic. But this is, to introduce sobriety at Christopher, know that I self-medicated. You see me right now. There's obviously something going on with me. I'm never up this late, and yeah, manic. That's crazy. But this is the thing. I don't like this about me. I don't want to have to take drugs to feel this way. It was so bad. Torture, and I don't know, maybe if I almost made myself go through it again, thinking about it and how bad it was, but it's happened, let me say, a little bit, not to the level that it just happened recently. It's happened before 3 or 4 times. And no, maybe 3 times. George, the first time George had to throw me in the bathtub in my clothes. I couldn't explain to him what I needed. I just said, put me in the tub. And he's pouring water on me with my clothes. And I'm sweating and freezing at the same time. And I am crawling out of my skin. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong? I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. And it lasted 20 minutes. And then I was knocked out for hours. And I would be wrapped in a towel sweating. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And then it happened again. And I'm like, babe, this can't keep happening. And I think maybe 3 or 4 times. And then I kind of got a little spiritual. And I was like asking my medium lady to ask my guide what it was. And I said, it kind of said what it was. It kind of validated what I thought it was. And I'm like, oh man, that's so fun. I can you tell them to no, not like next time they want to do any kind of upgrade or DNA, whatever they're doing, it cannot be that strong. I really thought I was dying. And I wanted to say to George, I feel like it's a weird thing to say, but I couldn't explain any other way. My DNA is being fucked with, or I kept saying my cells are being changed. I just felt like I couldn't explain what was going on, but that. All right, so it's like try to explain color to a blind person. That's what it is. When you've never felt this emotion, there's other things that we don't know that go on. There's other emotions and shit that we don't feel here, that we feel other places. So try to explain emotion and something that you've never felt before to somebody. You can't even explain it. You know what I mean? It was that kind of feeling. I could never explain this to anybody because I don't know what it is. And I don't know the way I'm saying to you isn't even giving it any justice. Because I'm like, all I kept feeling is I kept looking all over the place. I couldn't stop. It was just, and that feeling. And then when that was happening, I would think to myself, okay, I don't want to die. This is scaring me. How did I ever do drugs? How did I ever do drugs and not think I was going to die? I feel like I'm a completely different person too. There's another aspect of what happened that night that I OD'd, but I don't know. It's really, really good. I don't know if other people know about near-death experiences, but I also had a walk-in too. So a partial walk-in. People are like, what the fuck was a walk-in? Long story short, when I made my soul contract, I said I would go through all this stuff and then I would have that near-death experience where I would die at age 36. And then if I was too tired to come back, my soul's too tired from going through all that, my higher self would take over and walk in. And what happened was I allegedly or apparently when I was out, I wanted half of my soul to stay. I wanted partial walk in. And I said, that was my soul contract. You could do a partial walk in. I could completely walk out and let my higher self take over, or half of my other, basically part of my soul stayed and part of my higher self soul came in. You guys are going to be like, you guys are going to not even, you guys have to watch other people that have had this happen. But anyway, so I knew that after the last 10 years, after 2012, I knew something changed because I'm different from even 3 years ago. The things I was okay with 3 years ago, I'm not okay with now. The perspectives I have is different. I definitely feel like it turned me into the person I'm supposed to be. I don't know. I was not a good, I don't know. When Laura just said that, it's I'm a good person now. I definitely, it had to be, everything I went through, I don't know. And it is hard to be an empath. I always felt like weird and out of place and everything. And it's like, because I didn't know about empathy, I didn't know that I was picking up other people's energies. I didn't know if I'm walking around the mall and I'm happy and all of a sudden I feel like the whole world's ending and I'm like, why? Something's wrong with me. And that's why I'm like, I'm depressed, I'm bipolar. And they're like, yeah, here, take this medicine. And really, it's like, it's people that are, I'm not going to turn this into a spiritual kind of shit though. There's a lot of reasons that we could go. I should do spirituality right? And talk about how I know that it's me. Oh, why did I freeze or something? Who's on Instagram? Is there anybody? There's like nobody on live. I don't understand. Nobody likes me, I guess. I don't have any friends. Because even California people are up this late. It's usually people live around this time, but I know. Like, and the thing is, when I was going through it, I didn't even think to like, oh, I should go get some like dope or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was weird. I didn't even want to smoke the pot. I just could not. I needed it at the end. I know that. I just needed it at the end, and I need it to never happen again. I don't like that. Like, I don't like people. I don't have pain or, I don't feel sick. Like, I'm not a sick person. I don't get sick ever. I've never been vaccinated, by the way. Vaccine did not work. I got the mumps when I was younger. And then after that, I've never really been sick. I barely get the flu. I've only had it once. I've never had COVID. I've never, ever get colds. So, like, I don't feel sick ever. So when shit like that happens, it freaks me the fuck out. Like my knee hurt for like a week, I think. I'm like, I literally thought I had a tumor in my knee. Like when aches and pains happen, it's my problem. It's mental. And it really is very crippling. Mental, it's very crippling. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to deal with mental illness and fucking body pains, because being mentally, I don't want to say mental, but like, I don't know what to call it now. They say bipolar, right? But like, you guys don't see me freak the fuck out, and it's not fun. Like, it's my poor husband, and he doesn't do anything wrong, but sometimes I flip the fuck out on people that are like my friends. I just get really angry, like, and it's a shame because I don't like to feel that way. And then, like, I've cut people out of my life that I love a lot, but I just can't do anything. I can't help them. I can't be there. I can't watch them destroy themselves any longer. I can't help you, and I can't have you forgetting that you can't have drugs here. I can't have you misunderstanding what I'm saying when I say, please don't bring drugs in my house again. You know who you are, and I love you, and I'm trying to work my way back into us talking again. But you're the only person that I love so much that I don't care about you doing the drugs. I love you, and I want you in my life, but I don't know how to have you in my life. You know who you are. It's just, this is a lot of things. Like, I was a drug addict too, so I know there's people that didn't want me in their life when I was all fucked up. I get that part too. I got that. But I don't know what else. Sometimes it just hurts me too much to see the shit that my friends are doing to themselves, sometimes my ex-friends. And then they steal from me. And I can't have you have Whitney's crack den in my goddamn house. My husband will, my husband has gone through a lot because of my addiction and the people that I had in my life, a lot. He's lost a lot. People have done a lot of shit to us because of the people I brought into our lives. It's another thing. I don't want that around him. I don't want him to have to deal with it ever again. The last 3 years I've spent trying to literally, because after the last 4 years is when, like, I cut a lot of other people out of my life. I worked so hard to change the energy of our atmosphere to make it more peaceful, because there's a lot of chaos for a little while, and I know chaos before where I had to get all that out of my system. But I mean, I worked really hard to keep we have a very peaceful house. Like, it's very, it's like winter wonderland in the wintertime, and sometimes like a tropical paradise. I make sure that I don't have to leave. I have my tanning here, my pots here, my food's here, my husband's here, my cat's here, my plants here, and it's big enough that I can be in this room and not know anybody else is here. And I'm extremely grateful because, again, I was an addict who had nothing, and my husband, this house, he paid for it. It's paid off. His dad, paid it his dad the whole time, and then his dad left it to us. But I'm extremely grateful for that, And like, I feel very lucky. I don't think I deserve any of it. I don't deserve him. I don't deserve the house. But everybody says differently. They're like, no, you do, because you're a great wife and you do everything for him. He's the money man, I don't know why he loves me. Babe, I don't know why he loves me. He's at the door. the other day, he goes, I wish you would. He's like, I hate when you say that. I've said it for years. I know that's not true. I feel like I really feel like I was the one. See, my love is just really, it's, I don't want to say it's like my love. I don't say it's deeper, but because I feel everything 10 times worse. I feel deeper, and I feel like I would yell at my husband. I would cry when we were like, I would think that we were getting a divorce. Like every argument, I would think we're getting a divorce. That's where my brain goes, and I would get mad at him for not being upset about it because he's like, "We're not getting a divorce," and I'm like, we're getting a divorce. You don't love me. You're not crying." Like I would get mad at him for not getting upset because our divorce that we weren't having. In my head, we were getting a divorce, and I kept saying to him, "You know we're getting a divorce, and you're not even crying." And he's like, "Well, what do you want me to do?" Like when Lamar Odom died, not Lamar Odom, the helicopter crash, and his daughter Gianna, whatever. I was like, I was bawling my fucking eyes out, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, you why are you crying? You're Ted fucking Bundy, motherfucker. Like you're Ted Bundy. Get away from me. Like you have something fucking wrong. You're Chris Watts. How can you not be crying? And at that time, I really didn't realize what was wrong with me. The empathy, the whole, everything I go through. Like I didn't realize that I was only like other people don't cry over other people dying. I just thought that like they were really fucking, there was something wrong with them. Like my husband doesn't cry because he thinks he's losing me. I think there's something wrong with him. And he's like, why do you think? He's like, I can't believe you actually think we're getting a divorce. My brain goes to the worst thing possible. And that's where my reactions come from. And your perception is your reality. And we all have different perceptions. And that took me a long time to realize too. But again, like Laura just said, drugs, might have saved my life for a while, killed me in a little while, but it turned me into a better person. I'm not saying go do drugs, but I think that I'm a more compassionate person, definitely. And I really care. I actually care about people now, which is crazy. I had no moral compass, and I hated that about myself. I had a moral compass. I just didn't have I just didn't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? Like I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck about people. And I didn't hurt them. I just didn't. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have empathy before. I did, but it's different. I think I was doing so many drugs that it was masking everything that was wrong with me. Because when I was a kid, I used to cry to my mom. I remember my whole life crying to my mom about it. I kept telling her I wanted to go home. And now I know what that meant, but she was like, "You are home." My mom, I was very codependent with my mom too. And then I don't know what happened after that, but I also feel like something clicks in me at one point. Like I don't know what this is, but like I get to a certain point with people where it's either I'm being hurt, like I'm doing it for myself, or like my own lies I tell myself, and it's just too much for me. And there's a switch that switches where I cut them off when they're dead to me, and I can't turn it back. And it's happened like to 4 or 5 different people, and I'm afraid that that's going to happen with my family. Like a couple months ago, I was like, I'm done with them. I care less about them. I don't love them. I care less. It's like they're just acquaintances. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I just don't want anything to do with them at the moment. And I was truly believe that. And then something happened. I was like, oh my God, I don't believe that. I go through this thing where it's maybe just self-preservation after a while, because I get to the point where I'm like, you're hurting me, but you're really not. It's in my head. But then I cut you off because I swear you are hurting me. And then I'm like, well, I can't regulate it, so I have to cut you off because I don't want to torture you with me saying that you hate me. See, drugs is what masks all this that you're hearing coming out of my mouth right now. This manic 10 o'clock Krista for an hour and a half, going on and on, even though I'm going to be more professional about sobriety tomorrow. My high ass has to go to bed now because I just got really tired. My hair and makeup looked really good today too. So I don't ever say it. What the fuck are they yelling about? I'm gonna kill her. What the fuck are you yelling about, Nance? I'm fucking drunk. What the fuck are you yelling about? I hate this. What the fuck is she yelling about? Bitch, I fucking God. Fucking dumb bitch. I fucking hate her. This bitch fucking screams constantly. And this is what I deal with. Stop yelling. Like, what are you doing? It's fucking 10:30 at night. And then the kids next door, they're always asleep with the windows open. And then I feel bad for Andrea's got to cut out and fucking yell at this fucking drunk. Sorry. All right. I'm going to play with this. I'm afraid to hang up with you guys. That doesn't matter. Krista, calm down. I yell at her constantly. She hates the fact that I give her no attention. She tries to get my attention constantly. I don't fuck with my neighbors. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to drink, hang out. I don't want anything to do with my neighbors. I will protect them to no end. I have cameras. I will protect you, watch over you, protect you to no end. I just don't have a relationship with you. It's too much. And I don't want to hang out with her. And the more I ignore her, the louder she gets. She watches the fucking podcast. She's a fucking whack job. I don't want to be your friend. I'm sorry. I don't know why you want to be my friend. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you scream louder when I'm out there. When you know I'm in here, you scream louder. I don't know what the fucking problem is. You just make me mad or dance. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't want to be your friend, and I don't want to be your drinking buddy. I don't want to be close to my neighbors. It's too much. I don't need it. I barely have friends, okay? It's another thing. We have to talk. Let's decide something's up with me. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't like it, and I don't like how I'm being. I don't like how, like, I'll have people over here. Right? I used to literally have to be with somebody. Me and M were together 24/7. I woke up in the morning, my husband went to work, I got my hair and makeup done, and I picked her up, and I was with her all day. And that went on for 10 years. And all we did was fuck around the whole time. And I used to have to be with somebody constantly, right? And then for some reason I started to get really like, I wanted to stay home, and I started to do like crafts and stuff being by myself. And like the last 5 years, I have friends, right? But like it's Teresa's thing, right? We're at the event, and that's cool, hang out there, right? But then when my friends come over to hang out, for some reason I'm not able to be sociable. I'm not able to engage with them. I'm not able to like. I sit and talk, like I feel really rude, but it's like I don't have the time. I don't know. And I also get very weird now. Like, I'm being social with you guys. Actually, probably nobody watching. And I'm very manic, and I just don't know what's wrong. Like, people, I noticed I've had friends come over, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't really want to hang. Like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm just used to doing this. This is my social time, and then when I'm not, I don't know, guys. No. All right. Well, this isn't supposed to be sobriety of Krista Marie and mental health and all that. But this will be a segment. If anybody watches this now, I'm going to try to not be as high tomorrow. Anybody that wants to talk about their journey, you can be honest. We're not going to sit there and call you. You know, if you relapse, I don't even call it relapse. Let's just all talk about everything. So I'll be honest. And you don't have to be honest, but I do want to do. You know, I know a lot of different perspectives about this shit, especially people that watch Bravo and have an opinion about why you think, or if you think Bravo is part of the problem, if reality is part of the problem, or why are reality stars getting sober and staying sober. On reality TV, where Vanderpump is about drinking, Housewives is always about drinking, Carl Summerhouse is about drinking. Jax had to go away because he couldn't control himself. They told him he had to leave. He had to go. He almost wasn't an aspect of the show. I said it last year. I keep calling the shit. I'm sorry. I know. Another thing I keep saying, I'm gonna have to have somebody on here with me is I don't want to project. Sometimes I do project my what I was doing or what I think I was doing on other people. You know, when I was a crackhead, I thought I was my crack. You know, that kind of thing. But you don't go to rehab for mental health. You do, but you don't. Not Jax doesn't. I'll tell you. Jax isn't somebody that goes away. Jax is Jax. Jax has always been a Jax. His mental health, him finding out he's a narcissist. Did he change? No. He just admitted that he was who he is. I'm this person, and that's who I am. He's wearing it like a badge of honor. We already knew what you were, dude. I knew what you were. You were me. Except I changed, and you didn't. Something. I grew out of my fucking... All right, see how Jax is? That's who I was, okay? So imagine me, the Jackson, in female form. You know what I mean? Not that I slept around, but, like, just everything else about his personality and all that. And then I just was like, this is weird. I'm just, I don't like myself. I'm trying to take my jewelry off for you. All right, guys, I love you. I just go as you're getting. Thank God I'm tired. I didn't think I was gonna be tired, man. The manic ran out. It's like my batteries. I say to George, I'm like, I'm powering down. It's like finally. It's only 24 hours later. Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you guys come over here. I was talking about Bravo, and I'm trying to make it. I'm going to make this a segment. I'm going to try to get interviews. I'm going to talk to Carl from Summer House. I don't know if they'll give me the time, but a lot of the stars that got sober. So if anybody knows these people, Carl, I know his publicist, Carl from Summer House, Mike the Situation. I want to speak to Lala, which Lala, I don't know if Lala will come on now. I was so impressed with Lala getting sober, no matter what the other parts of her journey that we don't, I don't fuck with like Ariana and stuff. I'm still so impressed that she got sober and stayed sober and is very, like, her story doesn't get told a lot. And the person I'd like to talk to, don't think you come on now, but there's a lot. Like Karen, I even want to talk to Karen or Gina, like Gina from OC, because of the drinking and stuff. Like a lot of people, like, they stopped drinking, started again. Luann, she swore she had a problem, and I'm sober and I don't have to drink. And then, as soon as she's off probation, she's drinking again. Well, it's okay. It's okay to drink, but like, I don't want people to think too, like, oh, I'm still doing this or that, and I can't talk about sobriety. I don't care if you're still using drugs. You can talk about your sobriety. We can talk about, you don't have to tell us anything. As I'm just saying, if people want to think that they can't come up and talk about sobriety because they're still doing drugs or talk about being sober, they think they're still on drugs. It's not, I'm not, you definitely can talk about it. I'm not a judgy person. I don't, I'll be honest about my stuff, and it's only fair. And I'm not the judgy person at fucking all. Everybody knows me. I don't judge at all. At all. I'm not that person. I don't know, I never had that. All right, I'm being weird, but okay, guys, I love you. I'm gonna kill this girl. I'm gonna have to shut my windows. I hate having to shut my windows. How much fresh air I get in this house because of being up here and having all these windows, and then I gotta shut them because it's fucking drunk over here. Fucking bitch, I can't stop. She's yelling. She's messing me up. Why are you yelling? All right, guys, I love you. Mamir, I'm gonna hit you up right now. Nobody's watching.